So it's just gonna be me and y'all tonight. What's up, James? How you feeling, bud? All right. So we're gonna go over footage from yesterday. Let's see. More like the cramp is here. Am I right, Cole? You get it? The cramp? All right. Slow start. Here we go. Jordan and Matt, Joe and Josh. Hell yeah, dog. The first organic black belt. Nice upper body control here by Josh. Working to get Joe down to the ground. Kind of throwing him by there. So off that throw by, Joe keeps his head a little low. Looks he kept control of the arm. Now you can get to this front headlock position. Way heavy on him. Yeah, it is, maybe I'll have to add some, like, white outline for the black belt just to get it to contrast. Josh, look away for 1 second. What's going on here? Let's do this whole thing. So, okay, quick go behind here. A little too fast for Joe to reach up to grab the leg. Nice power half. Trying to get him to bend over to expose the back. So, Josh, on that power half, let's go back to it. So, for this one, you've got the forearm, you've got your right forearm behind the head. So I want you leaning to the right side. And it's not, you're not so much crunching his chin straight into his chest. You're kind of crunching it down into the left. And that'll make him want to roll over his right shoulder. And it's also good to go in that direction in this specific case because your left hook is still out. So as he falls, as he falls over his right shoulder, that will give you a chance for your left hook to slip in. But you reset, you sag heavy off to the left. And you guys have been really quick in setting up your strangles lately. Like, you don't take too much time. You kind of, it's like you guys are opting out of the hand fight because you just get there quickly and get to work, which looks really good. There's just Danny and Luke, me and James. Another good snap down from Josh. James, I won't harp on the knee footage too much. I'm curious to look at it, but we won't dwell on it. This is my last round. Damn, Josh. See the setup here. I feel like you're already, like, I could see you thinking about it as soon as you get that same side wrist grip. Really, really good. Full commitment. Just about get to the angle. So you don't get the Kimura submission attempt and you don't get possible back exposure, but coming up into side control past the legs, like it's a great loose pass that you hit on that. So you know, of the possibilities, this isn't like the highest one, but definitely a solid place to land after rolling through there. What was that? James, there was no on this this inside heel hook on the left leg. There was nothing gnarly about that, was there? I didn't like set you up for a terrible outcome, did I? I mean, I don't really crank on those things anyway. Ooh, Joe with the rollover. Yeah, against James up here in the back. This was, you guys have been really good at shutting down some of my takedowns from behind. So James starts setting up to this knee bar entrance, either a knee bar or a cross ashi entrance where he's trying to reach down and scoop on my leg. So what I do is I take my leg all the way behind his right leg. Or, yeah, right there. And then I switch it back to that left leg again. And I'm kind of just biding my time there. I honestly don't have a good reason for why I did that other than making it difficult for him to extract the leg and bring it in front of him between his legs. But then I switched to a variation on the, well, not a variation. I switched to a tactic to get him down by hitting this leg weave. You see my left leg going across and between his legs. And then I'm trying to sag very heavy and break his legs down, but he steps out of it. I think I might hit that same one later on Josh. Take a type before it taps. I think Joe had a Kimura or something. Let's give Joe his due. Oh, off of the... I got you, off of that rolling sweep. Yeah, it was in your best interest to roll with that. And then he gets the Kimura. Nice, really nice. Danny's really digging on this arm on Luke. I'm surprised Luke's let him stay there as long as he has. Dude, you and Joe had a super active round. Going around for that knee bar entrance. Interesting tactic from Joe here for the knee bar. So this is cool. Normally when someone triangles their legs like this to hide the leg, you know, I typically advise to grab, you know, use a hand to grab at the foot, you know, to the ankle line or the toe line or the heel, and pull from there at the long end of the lever, and even like not working against the hamstring necessarily, but rotationally pull that other foot in, that secondary foot, and that often breaks open the triangle. This was, I can't say I've ever considered even doing this, but Joe just kind of like gives it a beat and then just hand pushes right off and gets the foot exposed. I might have to give that a try. That's pretty cool. I want to look at Danny and Luke here. Okay, so Luke just kind of pops his elbow free and then immediately goes in on the Z-lock position or an inside Senkaku. Or no, that's a people call that the Z-lock position. It's like a cross ashi, but with a leg in an outside heel hook position, aka an enormous reap and a lot of pressure on the knee. Steven doing his baseball bat choke entry again. Set your toe real good. Proud of you, bud. All right, I guess Steven's baseball bet entry failed. See the setup here. Nice sweep, Josh. Williamina, I have no idea what you're saying. But thank you for the follow. So this is the bad knee moment with James. So coming up on a single leg here, I try to switch to a double. I come up with the single, and I try to get to the ankle on the far side. I reach across, James steps out of it, and once planting the leg, knee kind of caves in there on the side, and it's big time owie. I take it you're feeling a little swollen today, James. Single leg X sweep by Josh. Yeah, I saw that one. That was great. I'm sorry, man. I'm really, really hoping it's nothing more than a sprain. That really sucks. Wilhelmina, I hope you're enjoying the content. Thanks for joining us. All the way from Brazil, I'm assuming. Let's push forward a little bit here. So we got Levi and Cole down here in the corner. And Chris and Josh, Matt and Joe. Mike, are you up in the air right now? Joe with an easy pass over into mount on Matt. Working a little bit of grapevine and some other pressure. Gets it. And Matt, I don't know if you ever tune in and watch a stream. We haven't talked about that, but if you find yourself here, this free hand of yours, I'd like to see you planting it right up in Joe's armpit. If you're in dire straits, last ditch effort to remain safe. It can help you turn your head a little bit. It kind of you're gonna keep his body in position so he can't like wiggle the chest into place and get a smother tap. And if you stymie him enough, and he gets tired of being there and he realizes he has to do something else, then that's where some of your escapes can be born from. At least that's what I have to do with a lot of you bigger guys. Orthopedic told me I'll pray some PT to do later. Should be 4 to 6 weeks. All right. I mean, that's not a terrible layoff. Are you gonna get it? Are you getting it? You think you'll get it checked out for like, an MRI or anything like that? I mean, they might. I don't know. Jordan's probably the guy to talk to, but I know they can do like those different tests to see how like lax the joint is on ligament tears or sprains or whatever. The valgus test or something like that. Jordan, I don't know. Pipe up, man. I'm talking out of school. You know what you're doing. Speaking of Jordan, we got there's another Jordan over here somewhere. Maybe he's in the corner. Yeah, I think he is. I don't know, chat. Should we call new Jordan? Should we call him Jordan? And other Jordan, small Jordan? Or does Jordan get to keep his name and then we call the new guy Big Jordan? Joe putting to work the move of the day here, or the sequence of the day. Let's see how this works out for him. So using this is somewhere between a head scissor and the side triangle. Matt is hiding, he's got his far side arm hidden in there, which might make the triangle a little bit more difficult. Let's see, I want to go back, look at Joe and Matt here. Alright, so from side control, which we're working on this week, so it's good to see this. Pretty much the same setup we saw at class. That far side hook coming around to dorsal. Yeah, so Matt just gets his hand, his left arm in early enough here to where that triangle is going to be next to impossible for Joe. Doesn't mean you can't put on some very controlling pressure. In fact, I forgot how Joe finishes this, but in a case like this, Joe, I would focus on controlling the arm that you had the Kimura on and trying to get the Kimura finish here. That's because of what Matt is doing with his left arm. That's probably going to be your best bet. But then you come up and finish this here in a second. I don't know if we could see exactly how you do it. Might just be enough head pressure there. Yeah, maybe enough pressure for the triangle. I've missed like half the chat. What's happening? Seems disrespectful to the OG Jordan. OJ. We could call him OJ. Enough time has passed where you can't be upset for being called OJ. I don't recall if there's MCL stability test, new one for the ACL and others. Juicy J, I'm down for Juicy J. More tapped early. Okay, good thing. And then let's see, Zach. So I'm rolling over here with Zach, giving him a little leeway here. On the, let's see. So he's in mount right now. My hips are high. My leg is propped up. Zach, I want you to keep in mind the recipe for a triangle is one arm on the inside, one arm on the outside. And when you reach under my leg like this, you're volunteering that one arm in, one arm out position. So if I was being a bit more aggressive here, I'd slide my knee up into your neck to establish half of my triangle. I'd have to get my right leg under this arm and then around to set up like my crossed ankles trap triangle position. But keep that in mind. If you're gonna do something like this, plenty of you guys have like gotten out of my mount from underhooking a leg or scoop gripping a leg. It's got to be a bit explosive. You really got to get me moving and don't give me a chance to settle into position and control your head. So I'm not going to say it's impossible. I'm not going to say you can't ever do it. You better be explosive with it though. Otherwise, just work your standard elbow escapes, kipping escapes, upas, etc. We've got, he's back here. He's under the chat. Oh, here he is, Jordan with Cole. Sorry, big Jordan. Luke and Steven. Last New Jordan lasted a month. I don't even remember the last New Jordan. Josh, where's your Pikachu at? Steven getting his legs a little too close to Luke after this sit to guard front headlock position. Captures the leg, pulls it right out from underneath you. And look how Luke doesn't rely. This is a good point here. You know, wrestlers, you see this like arm to leg connection that they make, but they follow it up with a lot of drive, a lot of movement, a lot of dynamics to overcome the strength that the leg has versus your arm. Luke is a bit more static here, but he overcomes the strength discrepancy between his arm and Steven's leg by incorporating his own leg. He steps up into it, scoops behind Steven's leg, just barely misses it, but gets Steven off balance enough in this case. Luke, I think we all know what Luke was trying to do here as far as hooking behind the ankle and then driving through on that single leg finish. And then Luke focusing very heavily on, well, at first getting his neck safe. Damn, Steven, was that, like, did Luke have any feedback for you as to how close that was to getting him? If he was actually in any trouble there? He was tall and of wider persuasion. Between 25 and 50. I'm assuming he meant years old. Cole's just being a jerk now. Just initiating New Jordan. So since I know Jordan was telling me earlier that he watches the stream replays at least, so let's go over this a little bit. Looks like Jordan has maybe seen a couple clips of a rubber guard, judging by that shin grabbing. Here it looks like he's thinking Kimura, which isn't bad. Yeah, so that's where it goes wrong. Jordan, with your left leg kind of becoming disengaged, it looks, you know, you're using it as kind of like this, like outrigger to to keep your, I don't know, to keep yourself from maybe getting, maybe to like roll Cole backwards. But what you're doing when you disengage that leg is giving Cole this opportunity to flank your guard, essentially. Remember that your legs are your guard. They're the primary thing that's going to keep you safe when you need to create space and keep your shield up, so to speak. So Cole gets to step over this. Seems like you probably stay a little too overcommitted on the Kimura, which means you're exposing your back to Cole, which he takes advantage of. So as he climbs up, Cole knows that his arm is safe right now. So he gets to climb, and he puts you in a really terrible position. He actually did this to me a week ago. He got me belly down with a rear naked strangle. Terrible place to be, really, really difficult to recover from, as I'm sure you can feel from there. But yeah, the Kimura from your closed guard, or even half guard, which you're in here, totally viable move. You just, there are some things you need to learn for the setup to that. So we can talk about that next time I see you at class. Just remind me. Oh, you did mean hours. Got it. Must have been in the kids' class then. sure he said I got a big ass neck. Checks out. And Jordan looks like he's trying to get some work done to get over Cole's butterfly hooks here. Cole's really not giving him a chance with this underhook. He sets up an underhook here after this double overhook position. So yeah, that's a good example. Something to keep in mind. Anytime someone is reaching down to pressure on your legs with their hand, whether they are on their back and you're trying to pass to mounts, you know, from half control or side control or knee on belly, whatever. Anytime there's a hand on your knee, there's an opportunity for an underhook, which Cole takes advantage of here. So he's got this over-under position. Come start working to get Jordan off balance. Jason getting to work on Ronnie's back right now. Looking to use the straitjacket method. So Ronnie's pretty good at shutting down a lot of this stuff with us. Jason, you have it correct here though. Like, I like what you're doing right here. So you set up with your underhooking hand on the bottom side, a cross wrist grip to the top arm. That's going to be most likely your best bet to hitting that leg capture that you look for. Here you kind of switch into bringing your top side arm in. It's not that it's impossible to capture the arm with your leg that way. Your own arm just kind of gets in the way. Typically you want to try to get your heel to about where the wristwatch would be. So when your arm gets in the way, you kind of have to trap your own arm and then try to slip it out. It's not ideal, but it's definitely doable. Zach working behind Jordan here. Steven's just getting smashed 5 different ways. It looks pretty terrible, Steven. I feel like Luke's being nice to you too. Like he's not kneeling on your face. He was like, you know what? I'll spare him. I'll just kneel on your shoulder for about 20 seconds by the looks of it. Nice. Ooh, he caught you thinking there on the double. So really good turnout here, Steven. And then Luke's just like, yeah, we're not done yet. Trying to bicep slice him. Oh, I see. Okay, it's an interesting angle. How'd you get there? So from a shoulder crunch. Yeah, Luke also will eat that pain. I know I've like long ago tried to bicep slice him, you know, in like a half guard, or I'm sorry, in an arm bar, you know, using the bicep slicer to try to break his grip open, or you know, encourage him to open his grip for me, and he's like, yeah, no, that's not. I'm just gonna get out of this and then hurt you really bad. It's typically how he handles bicep slicers. Just so everyone can see, Luke gets on Zach's back here, Notice he doesn't take him backwards over his feet and his ankles. He takes him to the side like a good training partner. That's how we avoid injury. Yeah, lines up. We got Tony and Justin starting to scrap. Levi's going to be a fun role, I think. He has some wrestling background, young guy, very strong, very imposing. You guys could kind of, take it as an opportunity to test your mettle against somebody with some stand-up experience, and also with some habits that he's going to have to adjust for jiu-jitsu. So, not to put Levi in a bad spot here, but like, when he shoots, you should be thinking about countering with guillotines, depending on where his head ends up. We'll see how active he is on his feet as the weeks progress. But hopefully, you guys will feel a different challenge than what it's like standing up with myself or Mike or Luke, and someone with actual wrestling experience, what they bring to it. Justin got himself a rear naked strangle. So let's see. So look in here. Justin, I guess Tony was just letting him get behind. All right. See how Justin gets him down. Okay, Tony opts to go down. Justin looks like he gets a mandible strangle here. So he's not quite under the chin, but he's got the point of his elbow. Okay, he has to switch up. Now it's just a good forearm across the jaw. Okay. Steven and Cole, how was this roll for you guys? Unless your joints are made of cardboard and you get injured. Yeah, that was, man, it was so weird too, because like I was looking up to that other leg to capture it, and when I saw you step, like in that like, the milliseconds that felt like minutes when it was happening, it was like it looked like such a hard step, and then the way the angle your knee took was just like, ah, shit. But that heavy planting that you did. So I don't know. That was really weird. Ooh, there we go, Levi. Let's look at the setup on this for Joe. All right, so Levi does like you'll hear this called like a gator roll, maybe a cement mixer, I think it's also called. We look at a move like this typically for entrances into the anaconda. Wrestlers use a move like this to get points for exposing the back to the mat. So, we see Levi basically do a full 360 there with Joe. Joe is no worse off, no better off than where it was when they started. If this was wrestling, he'd be down a few points. For Levi, what you want to do with a move like that for jiu-jitsu is, it's going to be a little complicated if you haven't done an anaconda or like drilled it with us before, but right here you're going to stop. You're going to stay right on your back, and you're going to use your leg. It's going to be hard for me to remember. I always have to this is one of those moves I have to do in order to explain it well, but one of your legs is going to reach up and basically come across Joe's arm here to keep it where it's at, above his head. You don't want his elbow coming back down, and it's going to give you a chance to set up a grip that is akin to a rear naked strangle grip, with your hands in this case, your left hand to your right bicep, and you could set up what's called the anaconda strangle. So the gator roll is great to get him turned to his back. We're actually going to try to keep him there because we don't care if our shoulders are on the mat. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you watch the stream, bring it up to me and we'll go over it again. Justin get a takedown there? Tony just slipped. Okay, he pulled guard. Wasn't memorable. That could mean that both of you got choked out, for all you know, if you don't remember. Meanwhile, I got Chris in a... I have Chris in a wrong way rear triangle position, which I end up using for an armbar. Just because it's weird, let's look at it for a second. So, for anybody who plays with rear triangles, Chris was shutting down my back game, so I went up higher, brought my hips up higher to his shoulder line. But the way we landed, my bottom leg, my left leg, comes under his left arm and then across his chest. Typically, you would want the opposite, right? You can see me kind of digging my leg in there. Let me zoom in on this. So here, I hope you guys can kind of tell why this would be considered a wrong way triangle. Normally, this leg would be across his, it would be in contact with his neck and across his chest. And then I would have my lock on the bottom side, and we would be flipped. We would actually be like me on my right side. Or if we were on my left side like we are now, I would actually have his right arm under control, not his left arm. And like my left leg would be over his left arm. So it's probably doesn't make any sense explaining it that way. But his arm is up. You can see I'm not going to get a triangle strangle here, but I have an immense amount of control over his arm once I get that lock, that grip broken open. So once I do, I start looking for the Kimura there. I think we talked about that a little at class, how the Kimura, when your upper arm is in front of you rather than in plane with your back, you know, the Kimura is still very effective. But as he straightens his arm out, I just kind of take control over it, pinch my knees in, and start to put on the brake for the elbow. So a weird leg configuration, but still workable. Let's see how Levi handles this position. Oop, standing head and arm. Standing head and arm. Gets it. Nice, Joe. It's off the snap. Okay. Yeah, Levi just leaves his elbow open a little bit. Good thinking, Joe. Yeah, his shoulders right in the perfect spot. Mutual asphyxiation. That's one thing that hasn't happened at the school. We haven't had two people go out at the same time yet. Oh, Steven with the bicep slicer, finally. Yeah, you are on your bullshito. Let's look at this setup. Okay, so Cole doing the smart thing here to defend the triangle. He's got his arms, like he still has an arm in and his head in, but he's got a closed grip with his arms. Steven needs to get a little bar across the biceps. Needs to keep the elbow in. And we slick, huh? That's cool, yeah. Get the triangle on the outside. Honestly, I feel like that would hurt my own forearm too. Which is probably why I wouldn't play around with those personally. If they're working for you. Go for it. Has anybody seen biceps win comps? Nick Rodriguez in the chat. Has anybody seen if who won the IBJJF Pans Absolute Finals yet? Marigali versus Eric Muniz, I believe was his name. Feel free to spoil it for me. I don't care. Awesome. Awesome. I was hoping he would. Marigali's a beast. He's the only he's right now like the only guy who I actually care to watch in the gi. Maybe it's just because I'm a new wave fanboy. Joe getting damn, you throwing a few different things at him here. Okay. All tangled up. See how this plays out. With the knee bar. This was interesting, Joe. It's funny too, you even flank his legs here. And get outside, almost to a leg drag position. You just really, really want to break his ankles, don't you? Switch to the other leg. So for your toe hold, you can tell this elbow needs to be closer down to here. And I like why you had control over that leg. You sneak into this cross ashi position. That was really, really good awareness. Like you're controlling both legs, or you have influence over both legs. You take the time to switch back to the primary leg. You've got to get the knee line a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, and honestly, I mean, for Cole, as far as defense goes, like you kind of lock yourself into place here with the triangle. And Joe's actually more, I say he's closer to like a reverse ashi position, which when you lock in a triangle with your legs, that typically kind of locks you into place when you're on defense with the reverse ashi. And as long as Joe has control over your heel, and not in the sense of a heel hook, but like just with, you know, like this cupped grip on the end of the leg, he doesn't really have to worry about you taking his back. You may actually want to opt the other way. Instead of hugging the hips close to you in an attempt to take the back, creating space, getting him away, and being able to rotate your body so that your knee is not pointing into Joe's hips or chest or stomach, but actually pointing across the body. Since he's kind of telling you here at this point what he wants. That was a cool entrance, Joe. Oh wow, Marigali on points. That's a bummer. I was hoping he'd clear out, get the sub. Rusty Shackelford as David Attenborough. So Jordan working through another initiation with Coach Luke here. Looks like Luke just wrist locks him. Oh, okay. No, he goes to a straight arm. Gotcha. Good. You got the elbow over the head, over the shoulder line rather. Nice sweep. Good regarding, Cole. You really wedged your knee in there to take control of that. Oh, Josh, I thought you were free there, man. Just choosing to stand. Steven acting like a Texan and just getting you by the head and pulling you back down like a steer. Oh, man. Cole's favorite position as of late. All right, Cole working to the head and arm. Nice. Really nice. So Cole's got the right arm up. Okay, that's where it was. A little slip in the head to the outside. That can really be a difficult thing to do without giving up some level of control over the arm. You do a really good job here taking your time to hike your left arm up high to get Joe's elbow like as high over his head as he can, and then like this little tiny head slip you right here. Your head's in position, slip it right over, come back down, and now Joe's in some trouble. Good patient setup on that. Don't know if you got a good sub all day. I mean, all kidding aside, Steven, that bicep slicer was pretty sweet looking. And if it works, it works. I can't remember what happened when we rolled. I don't think I got a sub on you. You probably just rolled out of all of my leg attacks like you did today. Curious if you're thinking about a lat armbar here, Joe. What your setup is. Nice double undersweep, Josh. Dude, that one really works well for you. We've seen you hit that a couple times in like the last, more than a couple times in the last month or so since I think we went over it. Like instead of giving Steven an opportunity to fight or to set up his butterfly guard, you just dive right in. You're very, very quick on that entrance. So that's a solid pass for you. What are Chris and Justin doing over here? Justin's probably learning how difficult Chris's guard is to deal with. I like his approach, though. It's funny, I saw something on Instagram earlier highlighting Fionn Davies' performance at IBJJF this weekend, and talking about somebody with a very flexible guard. They were highlighting the necessity of pinning the legs together and using misdirection to get around someone's guard who just manages to always get their legs in from one angle or another. Looks like Justin was trying to do just that, but Chris was able to fish his legs out. Look at if I don't get caught. Yeah, let's see, show Josh your double under trick. Trying to set up a learning rally. What's your double under trick, Steven? Did I miss? Did you do something that I missed with the double under? Trying to set up learned in rally. Oh, with the with that lat armbar. Well, show us at class, man. Don't hide your secrets, dude. And Josh, really, like, what I like about the double under, I had a feeling you were just going to say that. I was actually just going to allude to that. I don't think that there are too many ways to get caught when you're trying to execute the double under. Steven has these, a sneaky little no-arm triangle or TP choke that he likes to throw up that he's... I can't take a shit on it too much because he caught me with it once or twice, but normally I wouldn't say that's anything you have to worry about too much, but a well-executed double under sweep or a double under pass doesn't leave you too vulnerable. So I wouldn't, if you get caught in a TP strangle, take it as a sign that you did something wrong with your double under setup. Maybe you didn't get him up on his shoulders enough. Maybe you didn't push into him with your hips to this, getting him to the side. You let him kind of stay up the middle too long. Those sorts of counterattacks will start to fade away as you hone that pass. See, it's a legit sub that you let him have. I've only ever let Steven have any sub on me, so I know what you mean. I guess he gets it off camera. Do you guys come into the frame? I don't know what, I mean, yeah, you guys were. He jumps around your butterfly guard. I didn't see what it was. Did Danny just like bounce his head off the mat? Oh no, okay. Nice slippery wet spot. Single leg X sweep from Danny. Never counted. I didn't see it. So let me go back at this. So Cole with Luke here. Cole, you're finding yourself back in that butterfly half guard position that your last opponent was keen on using at competition as well, and Luke even setting up the dig on the deep half. Keep in mind, man. I know this is a little bit later. We're about, I don't know, 5 rounds in. So maybe you're, getting a little fatigued, getting a little comfortable in a kneeling position, but you can work from that split squat stance. No, you don't know, and that's why I'm telling you now. Disengage a little bit, work from the split squat. Try to get your right knee between Luke's legs for the inside position. You don't need to push forward into the butterfly. That's where you get into some trouble here. I think you really could benefit in that position from just applying a different default stance. And I personally would start with the split squat. Oh, damn, Joe. You really wanted that heel hook. Go to the outside position. That looked really good. This happens kind of quickly. Hard to see how it slipped out. So Joe, you're playing from an outside ashi. Right here, you slip that top leg across, kicking Steven in the face. It's good. There you get the heel. I think it looks like you have the heel exposed. Okay, but Steven's leg is straight. The leg that you're attacking is straight. A little bit of a gap there. You can see like he almost has his knee out by the time you get the heel exposure. Whoops. This is the crappy thing about heel hooks, especially when you guys are all sweaty. Like right now, you seem fairly good as far as like depth of his knee past your knee line. I would still want you to back heel very, very tightly. You know, pulling your heels to your butt, digging them into like Steven's back, and pulling your hips in closer towards his hips to make sure that he doesn't get that the ability to slip the knee. Yeah, right there. He exposes his heel, but what he gives up in exposing the heel, he gains in his ability to move that knee and get safe. Now he just kind of pushes right off your butt and he's out. Meanwhile, Danny and Josh. Danny just sets up a toe hold like a jerk. Steven goes on to the attack with the leg lock. Okay. Big old reap. Gets the outside heel hook. Nice sweep, Danny. Danny using the using an overhook instead of a shoulder crunch here. And actually turning to the side where Josh has a free hand to post. I can't see what he's doing with the other arm. Like with his left arm here. I guess he didn't have to do too much. He was just getting it out of his own way. But then, yeah, once Josh gets put on his head and knees like that, it's down to a head height and hip height battle, which Danny comes up for. To the 10 finger. Oh, please pick him up and drop him on his head. Ooh. Josh just about kicks Jordan and Justin. Josh working some leg riding. And Luke with the straight arm. He's on those straight arms today. Danny caught you with the crossed ankles. But yeah, Josh, I don't know. I feel like you could get a body triangle on Danny here. And even if you couldn't, keep in mind, one, working with hooks, not crossed ankles. Since you got caught with the crossed ankles, that tells me you're not ready to break that rule yet. But remember, we talked about it, I think, on the last two streams. This top leg of yours, you can just post your foot right on Danny's hip and just kind of step on his hip and have this other foot, this other leg across. So you have this closed loop around his waist, even if it isn't a body triangle. And that control over your hips, when you feel confident in it, lets you focus the fight on exposing the neck. So you need both. Victoria. It's funny, so Luke comes over and starts coaching Victoria, and I really mean it. I said it to her, and I mean it for all of you guys. Like, when someone starts coaching you guys, whether it's Peters or Luke, and I'm rolling with you, it really feels like you guys jump from white belts to purple belts when you listen to what he has to say. It gets much more difficult when you guys are paying attention to your coach. So all the more reason to do so in competition, right? I think I was trying to do the body triangle. Left me foot behind. Every time someone says me instead of my, in my head it sounds like an Irish accent. And I can't be the only one. Left me foot behind. So let's see what Chris goes after. That's right. Yeah, I think we have seen Chris really favoring this mounted triangle when he gets up there. Exactly. Cole, do you remember your Conor McGregor laughing GIF that you liked? I need you to take a frame of that and cut out his face and make it 112 by 112 pixels and send it to me so I could add it to the emotes. It's your homework. Cole coming off of mount, the shin pin position across the hips, looking for the straight arm. Good. If you still have it handy, then make me an emote. I might have a slot for another like animated emote, like the bone snap, but I don't think Conor McGregor laughing is active enough to look cool, unless you can do that. So Victoria's hanging on to this headlock. Actually, yeah, this is a good thing to look at. So let's see how we get here. So she gets that knee through, knee slides into Keisugatame, and I take her head to the mat, roll her over, and she holds on to this headlock, which honestly, it's just not worth doing in my opinion. You're more likely going to burn your arms out. You're not going to put much threat on your opponent when you do that. I would rather see you guys getting your frames in, disengaging, creating space, getting your frames in, than hanging on for that guillotine. That's not going to happen. Victoria thinking about playing a little rubber guard there for a second. How'd that finish, Cole? Oh, okay. You ended up taking the back. So yeah, Chris probably, he lets his right arm drift across your center line, leaving his back very exposed. Got a little bit of a body triangle set up there. Then, yeah, a little bit across the face maybe. Steven, I thought you were going to try to hit a twister there for a second on Matt. Which would be in theme for how you were rolling that day. Some more unorthodox stuff. So one thing, it's going to be hard to see with Victoria here. Maybe it wasn't during, I think she caught me in a rear naked strangle earlier, but something that she did very well, and that a few of you have been doing very well, is when you get to the back, you immediately attack the strangle. You're not you're not thinking about it in this step-by-step fashion where you go, okay, I got my hooks, now it's on to the hand fight, and then once I win that hand fight, I get to attack the neck. You go, I'm on the back, attack the neck immediately. And like it's neither right or wrong, it's just a very opportunistic approach that can work, it might not work, but when it does, it saves you so much time, so much effort, so much energy, and is a really great way to default attack the back position as opposed to taking that like step-by-step approach. I think. I mean, if it doesn't work, you don't really lose anything in doing that. You just kind of, you're just onto the hand fight anyway. Got double overhooks here from Jordan. Let's see if he can hit a super sweet throw. Or we'll just go to an arm and guillotine. That's cool too. But Chris takes mount, so that's going to be a tough thing to deal with. Or a tough thing to finish. Got Matt and Justin. Justin's very good at being heavy on the head. I think some of you probably felt that from him. Oh, man. Almost with the foot sweep. That was nice. Matt's like, yeah, I'll just sit down. That was sick. Oh, I remember what happened, Steven. Because I tried to do it again today. This might be the only video proof that I have that I can finish a Hantai Senkaku the wrong way. A true wrong way triangle, not the weird one I hit on Chris earlier. What's going on, Cody? How you doing, bud? Nice person sometimes. No, nice people are nice people all the times. You can't be sometimes nice and be called a nice person. It did not work as well today. You adjusted. You postured up as soon as I like opened my legs to adjust my angle. So you guys have probably heard Mike and I talk a lot about the wrong way triangle. I think we see it pop up from time to time. It often ends up being more useful for like position control or sweeps or kimuras. Here's an actual finish. I think we actually talked about it last week when we mentioned like Gordon Ryan versus one of the Gracies when he had a challenge match against him. He finished a wrong way triangle. So the reason it's the wrong way is just like I showed with the match against Chris. What would be my strangling leg is not going across the back. It's the other leg that is perpendicular, and you know, in this case my left leg is my locking leg, whereas from a front triangle my left leg would be my strangling leg. I would also be, if I was doing a front triangle from the same position, I would be digging under Steven's right leg with my left arm. In this case, I'm digging under his left leg with my right arm. So I'm switching the angle that I'm cutting from Steven's right side now to Steven's left side. The crucial thing about this strangle that's so difficult for me to get to is you have to invert. You could tell I'm really, like, my butt is up in the air, I'm on my shoulders, and perhaps most importantly, or a really, really important part of it, this knee is pointing straight to the ground. I'm almost working myself to a north-south position in order to get this, but like a weird one where like my legs are still in the way, right? And then my quad is behind Steven's head, and that's keeping his posture broken. So you can even see I really have to work to get to this position. This is not something that you just throw up and get to. So here, just from a trap triangle, Steven hides his arm. I start climbing over the head. I capture the head and collapse it down. And now I start focusing on getting to the angle I want. I dig deep on the leg, Start slowly working my way around. My left, or I'm sorry, my right knee is not yet where I want it. I really want to get it underneath Steven. So I could feel, all right, the triangle's getting there. He's not in a strangle yet, but he's not safe. So I really start to work my way under, and this was having to use my my own advice of trusting the strangle. I felt really good about it. I felt like I had it. This was maybe the best one I've ever done, because I don't get to do them often. I said, all right, I'm going to trust it. I'm going to keep adjusting. And then right here, final little pull on the arm just to tighten everything up. I ended up getting it. What did Matt do to get Justin on his back? Did they just start? Oh, okay, it looks like they went off. Oh, all right. So Justin got caught sleeping here. He was in Kesa without the underhook, and Matt took full advantage of that. Really good. They start to go off and they reset. Jordan, this is where you can start thinking about doing that knee lever. If you can get Chris's knee on the ground, using that pinch of your legs and then just turning them sideways to get him to base out. That way you're not dealing with an underhook or a crossface from half guard. But you're not in a terrible spot now. Justin set up a triangle. Slash head scissor. I'm not sure what you'd call that finish, but Matt tapped. Nice throw by. Drags him out of the sweat puddle. Just get out of here. Settles right into side control. I'm probably happier, Steven, that you didn't cartwheel past me than I am that I got a wrong way triangle. Or whatever, jumping pass. Not really a cartwheel. There. Oh, Justin just got a smother tap. Okay. Nice. Held that one a little too long, Justin. A lot of taps there. Yeah, good quick work immediately trying to open my legs up, untying that closed loop around your leg, Steven. And right on the counterattack. Josh always have a fun roll. Hopefully you guys didn't do anything super cool with Chris standing there. Joe and Luke in the background. What did I try to hit? That was an attempt at a lateral drop. I was doing my best Steven impression. Just a quick knee push by to get around Josh's guard. Alright, so Steven, it looks like you're really trying to get those elbows out. Alright, working with the Kimura. There we go. What did I get Josh with? Oh, I think I set up for a triangle here against Josh. And he was just tapping early. A lot of trash talk. Yeah. No, that wasn't the move of the day. That was just like a mounted triangle from a poor angle. I honestly think you may have been able to fight out of that one. I don't know. Not going to speculate. There's a lot of sweet talking too, though, Josh, don't lie. Yeah, Justin doesn't have much of a chance right now. Grappling in a puddle. It's going to be really difficult to pass from the outside. Nice back take. Yeah, Steven, that was a little lucky. Just because, like, we're looking at Justin's right arm. He doesn't get it across. That neck pull, I think if he turned pretty hard, he probably would have just ended up in your guard. So just be careful with that. Try to get that arm all the way across before you do that. No need to give up a sloppy top position like that, you know. But you end up getting there anyway, so good. Set on a quick strangle. Again, not really bothering too much with like a crazy hand fight. Just setting in that early strangle and getting to work. Who's Cole rolling with? Oh, it's Jordan. It's old Jordan. Old small Jordan. Justin trying to get some little trips in there. Some inside trips. Oh. Nice double. It's funny, you even give it away too. You look right at his feet. Right there. Just like, yeah, I'm going to take those legs. Justin seems to have a thing for triangles. I'm starting to see. we got 2 more rounds here. Let's fast forward a little bit. What happens with this takedown? Single leg, dump. Alright. We'll let this one go. We got time. You guys just really wanted to roll yesterday, so I think we got over an hour of footage, so. Ball Jordan works too. Harry Jordan could be good. We really just, like, I don't think we should have just one. I think we just need to have clear, like a clear set of names that we could refer to each of you as. That way we never really get tired of any of them. Cole and Josh are just talking, hanging out, chilling. Oh, look at Levi. He's got the makings of a head and arm here. I think maybe he went over that with somebody earlier. Maybe Cole showed that to him. But Jordan not taking any of it. Refreshing elbow mount to skate. Okay, good. Neon belly. Got any tips? For offensively or defensively? Let's see. So, let's see if you're in a better spot. Because that one, Chris is kind of turned up in a way. Yeah, so my thoughts for Neon Belly, it's going to come down to how your opponent reacts a lot. Keep in mind, Neon Belly is I think the Japanese name for it translates to floating pin. So, you know, with that in mind, it's meant for you to be mobile while keeping your opponent on their back. So the mobility is a strong point of that. Contrast that to something like mount or side control, where either your arms are tied up or your legs are tied up. Your mobility is kind of gone. With that in mind, you can, you know, hop from side to side. You could be, the mobility that you have can open up opportunities from that position. The best ones I look for are when an opponent, typically someone who is not well versed in dealing with Neon Belly, they put their hand on your knee. When they do that, just like I said earlier in the stream, a hand on your knee is an opportunity for you to establish an underhook. So when, you know, as soon as they put the hand on the knee, dig in on the underhook, pull the arm up nice and high, just like we saw you doing earlier in your, I think Joe, you had a setup into a dorsal Kimura. You were working the move of the day with that, like, side scissor, or I'm sorry, the leg scissor position / side triangle on mat earlier, I believe it was. So from that Neon Belly, you have a very similar entrance to the move we did today, and that comes from somebody putting their hand on your knee. You take that as an underhook, and do what you want to do. You can also, like, I would see someone like Cole setting up Neon Belly, make you suffer, and then transition into mount, where a lot of the strengths of his game are. So you can attack directly from Neon Belly, or you can use it as a transition pin into mount, or I guess like one step beyond that into back, if that's your thing. What else? There are, I think, like, we can see the way Chris rolls away here, where he's actually rolling away from you, not towards you. Bertram has an armbar he likes to hit from here. He's shown it to me in the past, but, like, digging in on this inside arm, and then you would end up stepping over Chris's head with your left leg here, and kind of extending away. It's like a mounted armbar finish, and there are even variations of that. That's kind of my approach to Neon Belly. I heavily favor digging for the underhooks, though. And keep in mind, you know, back to the idea of the floating pin, make him suffer while you're there. Like, obviously, don't be too much of a dick to your training partners, but if you get there in competition, drive your knee to the center of the earth and make that guy not want to be in between you and the knee, right? Also into his sternum, like that's a really, really uncomfortable, panic-inducing spot to drive your knee. If I think of anything else, I'll bring it up. Do we see all this? I think we did. Yeah, Cole gets this overhook sweep to the smother. Yeah, Josh, I really want to see you working that elbow escape. Need to use knee on belly more. Can't remember the last time I did it during a roll. Yeah, it's a great spot. Like, you know, I think one of the laser, I've never seen you roll anything like that. Next time you find yourself in side control thinking about going into mount, you know, I think a common mistake all of us are guilty of sometimes is high stepping over a little too eagerly, and we end up getting our leg caught. We're put into half guard. Rather than high stepping, that's an opportunity for you to work your knee on belly. Like, just pull your knee up, slowly work it across from, you know, the near side hip to the far side armpit on that diagonal line, and use that as your mount transition. That entire path that the knee takes is filled with opportunities that I talked about, like getting the underhook, you know, if they roll away, working for that mounted armbar. Play around with it from there. The transition between side control to mount is a good spot to practice it. I'll even hang out there sometimes and just like practice. Kind of, it's a bit of a dick move just because like I'm not trying to taunt my opponent, but like, you know, I get my knee up, I put my other knee on their chest next to them, I switch sides. So like I'll switch sides on knee on belly, just kind of balancing, going back and forth, making it difficult for them to establish contact. Maybe do a reverse knee on belly where I'm facing their feet, come back to regular knee on belly. But again, you get them to make a mistake in one of those transitions where you're super mobile and they're not. You get to take advantage of that mistake. Cole does a really, really good job of getting his hips up high in these like super cramped tight positions. Joe with the straight ankle. I didn't even see that setup. So from an outside ashi, right here. Oh, okay. Yeah, Chris, you got to boot into that. You should be able to withstand the straight ankle from that outside ashigurami where Joe's feet were. Joe's feet were behind you, so it's gonna detract from his ability to put braking pressure on. Obviously, he can bend your foot back still if you're kind of letting him work with it. Joe, that was cruel. Stiff arm right to the armpit. Get off me. Nice. And yeah, Chris, you know, one of the very first things you can do to try to shut down that straight ankle is just try to get standing. Plant your hands, boot your foot, scoot towards him, and try to get up to a standing position where he can't bend your foot back. Tricky's getting waterboarded, doing some limits. Yeah, exactly. All right, last round. Nice trip. Is that just you just step behind you there? Oh, little Osotogari. Bug in the head. Bug in the face. Hanging out north-south. Here we go. Big step over there. And that angle warranted a controlled step over where, you know, not going to neon belly like I was talking about, but Joe does a good job here controlling, reaching to the far knee, to the far hip. If you can, Joe, try to collect those knees. Keep in mind, like, you've got Jordan's shoulders pinned right now. So if you get that hand, I think you probably already know this, Joe, but if you get that hand to this knee, pull it over, you're going to be torquing Jordan's spine up pretty good. And then you could hit an easy step over with a little less risk involved. And yeah, Laser, I hadn't seen you in the chat in a while. I don't know if a few streams back, we ended up reviewing some footage from Mango, one of our other viewers. So the opportunity is open, man. If you ever want to like send footage, or if you had some footage on YouTube of you rolling that like you'd want to you know, have some random brown belts from North Carolina review, we'd be happy to pull it up on the stream and talk over it with you. So it's kind of open to everybody now. Just a matter of sending it our way. We're happy to look at it. Really taking your time here to set up your back control, which I like. No need to rush through this. Get your head and arm control. And Jordan, for what it's worth, this is a spot, depending on what Joe, you know, what kind of control Joe has with his grips, but like that top arm of yours, if you find Joe is lapsing in this wrist control at some point, and you could create a little bit of a gap with maybe a shrimp, you know, create a gap between his Achilles and your stomach, you could kind of scoop underneath his leg and give a really good, strong, like side bridge to shuck Joe over top, and you escape out the back. It's a little risky, because you know you think about it, like I said earlier, you're leaving one arm in, one arm out. It's a recipe for a triangle. But he doesn't have the leg position elsewhere to make it immediately dangerous. Yeah, of course, man. We always appreciate you guys watching and following us and tuning in from time to time. So it's fun. It's fun to go over some footage from some other viewers too, and get some feedback from some of these guys. Everybody can learn together, right? I wanted was a rear naked and failed. Yeah, you failed, loser. Let's see why you failed. I missed it. Jordan, it looks like Jordan's just putting on a good hand fight. 2-on-1 on the strangle arm there. And then it looks like he hits a quick hip switch. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the danger of hooks, right? The hooks don't provide the best resistance to that switch of the hips. That's why I suggest, if you guys can't do the body triangle, start playing with that post rear mount where you step on the hip. It does help. Alright, Jordan working a half guard. Just got to deal with his knee shield now. Joe loves his knee bars. I like your reaction, Jordan. Trying to get the other leg in. The danger of that is it opens up that leg for attack as well. But it works out well here, so that's good. Honestly, like in a late stage escape like that, that's your escape. It's trying to disrupt the grip on the leg that's in danger. You're just gonna have to fight off possible toe hold counters, and you do that by using the leg that was about to be knee barred, and then he switches to knee bars. So it's a gamble. Now, coming up on the end of the round, looks like if you got that leg untangled, you might be able to pass, but good stuff. Man, you guys were really going hard that day. Love to see it. In other news, I guess the secret's out. We're moving school locations, which is super sweet. We're like a quarter mile away, or we're moving about a quarter mile away from where we are now, so it's gonna be really, really awesome. Our own space. We got to figure out where we're gonna put this camera, so it's gonna be cool. I'm really looking forward to it. But in the meantime, through the month of April, we'll still be rolling, capturing footage, training, all that good stuff. So lot to look forward to in the next month. So hope to see you guys training hard, and maybe help us out with the move when time comes. We'll see. In any case, thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks for the active chat. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate you, bro. And yeah, Laser, take me up on it, man. If you get some footage, send it our way. Shoot me a DM on Twitch, and we'll figure something out. And thanks for the follows, Willamima. Appreciate you. James, hope to see you back super ASAP. And in the meantime, you're a black belt now in the chat, so that's really all that matters. What else? Yeah, anything else I brought up today during the stream? If you guys have questions about it, please bring it up at class to Mike or Luke or Big Mike or myself. We'll be happy to go over it with you. And yeah, find some rounds. Yeah, for sure, man. That'd be great. If you're lurking, follow us here. If you can subscribe, please do. Use your Twitch Prime. It's free for you guys, and it really helps the chat out. Man, I say that every week. It really helps out the channel, not the chat. You can also support us at coffee.com/MOBJJ. And support us over at YouTube by subscribing there. We'll post this for you guys to watch for all eternity. So, in the meantime, again, April 29th, New Breed, Charlotte. So if you guys are interested in competing, please come talk to us. Let us know. We'll get you guys squared away for that. And other than that, yeah, everybody get super stoked for the new spot. And in the meantime, get back to class. And before you do, trim your nails and do your laundry, and don't be stinky. And we will see you guys there. Thanks a lot, guys.